Good morning. I am coming to you via a vlog again because I have been meaning to write and I haven't taken the time to write this blog. I'm writing other things but not this blog. So I thought I'm going to come and just do it as a video blog, which makes me feel super fancy. So I want to talk about something today, which is something that we touched on at the last retreat we did in Mexico. And for those of you who have done essence work, it will make great sense. And for and for those of you who haven't, I think I will make it make sense as well. So, our core essences, these things that I talk about that we come in with, that yearning to always be connected with these core essences. And when they start to not exist in our life begins to dim. So that's a powerful concept, and one which I share a lot and has been really helpful in many lives. Then comes the idea of, what about these essences that are learned essences? They are essences that come in as a default, as a so an example of that is might be solitude. You might think, as I did for many years, that solitude is a core essence of mine. If I don't have it, I don't thrive. But really, I believe now, after all the work I've done, that solitude is actually a learned essence, a reaction to a time in my life when being around people was dangerous. And so, not dangerous that I was going to die, but was not, it was dangerous to my soul. So I developed the need for solitude. Does it mean that solitude is one of my core essences? I no longer believe so. I believe solitude was born from a need, which I no longer have as strongly as I used to. So we talked a lot about that during our retreat, and it prompted me to create a new part of the course that I teach on retreats. And it was inspired by something I learned at Landmark. And this is what I want to talk about with you here today, with a very specific example in my life. Landmark calls them our strong suits. And our strong suits are things that we are good at, we have become good at, and we have been validated for being good at it. And it's a little bit more detailed than I'm going to make it now, but for the sake of today's blog, I think that's going to be enough. So something that you are good at, and something that you have been acknowledged, validated. Maybe you've also, from being good at it, you've been allowed to belong to a certain group of people, and maybe you're even getting paid for it. So what could these be? These could be having a great sense of humor. Maybe having a great sense of humor is what you're known for. Maybe you've been validated for it, and maybe it's allowed you to belong in places where maybe you didn't feel that you belonged before. And there's nothing wrong with having a sense of humor. The time that becomes not serving you as much is when it takes over, and it is no longer something which is intentional, but rather something that we default to. And we become known as the funny guy, when really there's a lot more to us. And also, we start using being funny to remove ourselves from situations that are asking for our attention. So I'm going to share with you something that I have. So we did the retreat last 3 weeks ago in Mexico, and the topic has been on my mind. And whenever a topic comes up for me, I become more sensitized to it, and I get to see it in my own life. So what I'm going to share with you is what I've discovered as one of my strong suits, and maybe that will resonate with you, and you'll be able to substitute that strong suit for one of your own. And that's generosity. So generosity, I've been able to track it as to why it became a strong suit of mine from in my early teenage years. So in theory, and again according to Landmark, we developed three main strong suits. The first one, I believe, we developed at the age of 5. another one around the age of 12, and another one around the age of 20. And if I'm goofing that up, I bet you somebody will correct me, but I think that's it. So for me, around the age of 12, I developed a strong suit of generosity. And I developed it because I found myself in a situation where my parents had a lot of money, and I was amongst, I was going to public school, and I stuck out. My dad would show up driving a Cadillac, which in France is like, might as well show up in a spaceship. Um, and I had a bigger house than most people had, and just this financial abundance that prevented me from belonging in what I wanted more than anything, which is what most of us want more than anything. I wanted to belong. I wanted to belong with my peers. So the way that I mitigated that difference is by being extremely generous. And what did it look like? It looked like my house would be the house where we hosted parties. Um, and I would always say, it's no big deal, and I would bring gifts to people, and I looked good. I looked generous, and strong suits usually make us look good. But it was really coming from a place of desperate need to belong. I'm sorry. So basically, what I was saying is, don't ostracize me. Look, yes, I have all this stuff, but I'm sharing it with you. I'm not a bad person. I'm not an outsider. And that was very real. I didn't realize, of course, what I was doing. So, fast forward many, many, many years, my financial situation changed many times, as did my parents. Yet that strong suit remained. And I think being generous is something which a lot of people who know me would say I am. And I am. It comes naturally for me to say, hey, here, you like this scarf, have this scarf. And sometimes it absolutely comes from a place of authenticity, from a place of genuineness. Most of our strong suits do. The problem is when they start to run rampant. Is that the right word? I think it is. And they take over, and they take over when we no longer are in charge. We default. Default is the right word. So for me, in my work, I have a somewhat large audience, and I have used my strong suit a lot in that audience, which means that I learn something great right away. I want to share it. I learn about a great recipe, boom, I want to share it. And I do that a lot, which is wonderful and is part of my work. But there has been an imbalance, and I have become painfully aware of it. Painfully because in the last little bit, I have seen the flip side of oversharing. I have lost some things that were very precious to me because I overshared about them. And so I've been really looking at that. It's been a wonderful gift of looking at where is my generosity natural and authentic, and where does it become part of my strong suit and something which I do as a default, not intentionally. I've done a lot of writing around it. I'm really diving deep into this topic for myself, for my own healing. And seeing that there is a place where generosity is exactly what I want to do and feel good about, and there is a place where doing it is actually a, a way of saying, don't hate me. Let me be part of you. I will share everything I have with you in order for you to still love me. So, of course, when we start to delve into topics, life comes and says, hey, I hear that you're studying this topic lately. How about you and I sit down and have a little pop quiz? So I did. I got a little pop quiz. And the little pop quiz has to do with me deciding to take a special trip in the next couple weeks in a beautiful place that I have never been and that I'm going to discover on my own. And within minutes of having committed to that trip, I found myself inviting someone whom I love to join me and do it with me. And I could feel, because I've been very attuned to it, this little thing inside of me that went, yeah, 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 I'm going to go do something awesome. But wait, wait, wait. I'm not, um, I'm not, how do I say? I'm going to do something awesome, but don't hate me, basically, or don't think that I'm so special, because I'm inviting you to do it with me. And I could tell the difference between the generosity and the excitement of sharing this thing and the strong suit kicking into gear. It felt weird inside of me. I could tell there was something off balance. So I did a lot of writing. I did some talking with a friend who really gets that. And I managed to come into balance. And what that looked like was I picked up the phone, I called my friend, and I said, listen, I goofed up. When I invited you to come share this whole 10 days with me, I was out of balance. I need to come back in balance. And I do want you to come with me, but I need 6 days to myself. And that was the part where I found the line between my inner generosity, but also my inner love for other people and sharing the good stuff in my life with other people and being available to share their good stuff with me. And the place where I went out of balance and tapped into really what is a pathology. And I'm lucky enough that that person was able to hear me and understand. So today, I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the things that you're being celebrated for, the things you're really good at, they come naturally to you. And where maybe they might be a little bit out of balance because you have learned that these things keep you either safe or loved or paid. You know, maybe this is what you get a paycheck for, that strong suit of yours, which could be to be funny or to be helpful or to be sarcastic or to be always available or to be so accommodating or creative, whatever it is. There are many, many different strong suits we can have. So I hope that this sparks something for you. And I hope that I was able to be clear about what I meant. I think I will write more about it in the time to come, but I wanted to share that with you. And I would love to hear what you think about it. I would love to hear if that sparks something in you. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.